Hi there, my name is Sam from Words.com and welcome to a new comparison video between the Huawei Mate 40 Pro and the OnePlus 8 Pro. We are comparing both phones in terms of display, performance, camera, design and battery. Stay tuned and find out which phone is in our opinion the better phone. If you'd like to see more videos like this, feel free to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Let's start straight away with our review. Let the facts speak. Display. The 8 Pro has a 6.78-inch display with a 1440p resolution. It uses a very bright OLED screen which creates very accurate colors. The 6.78-inch display therefore measures 17.2 cm diagonally with a pixel density of 513 ppi. Whether a picture looks fluid or not depends on the refresh rate. And a feature that every flagship got to have in 2020 is a high refresh rate. The OnePlus 8 Pro has a high 120 Hz. The 8 Pro has a great display with everything you want in a modern smartphone. Let us take a look at Huawei's display. The Mate 40 Pro has a 6.76-inch display with a 1344p resolution. It also uses an OLED screen which creates very accurate colors. The 6.76-inch display therefore measures 17.17 cm diagonally with a pixel density of 456 ppi. The Huawei has a 90 Hz refresh rate. When it comes to display size, the Huawei is only a tiny bit smaller than the OnePlus, and it also falls behind in terms of pixel density. Not much, but still. But the most crucial point and the deciding factor why the Mate's display is not as good as the 8 Pro's display is once again that the OnePlus had the 120 Hz refresh rate capability. That is the reason why the OnePlus 8 Pro wins a point in the display category. Camera. The 8 Pro has four main cameras, the primary and ultra-wide camera with 48 megapixel, a telephoto camera with 8 megapixel and a color filter lens camera with 5 megapixel. You can find the front camera in the upper left corner of the screen in the so-called hole punch notch. Its resolution is 16 megapixel. The OnePlus 8 Pro records 4K videos at a maximum of 60 frames per second. It also has image stabilization for video. The OnePlus 8 Pro was not one of our favorite systems, but Huawei's was. So let's take a look at what they're working with this time. The Mate 40 Pro uses a 3-rear camera system, an ultra-wide with 20 megapixel, a wide with 50 megapixel and a telephoto camera with 12 megapixel. You can find the ultra-wide 30 megapixel front camera in the upper left corner of the screen and a pillbox cutout right next to the 3D depth vision camera. It records 4K videos at a maximum of 60 frames. It also has image stabilization for video. Both phones have good camera systems, but which one is actually the better system? Let's take it to our camera test and let's find out which one does a better job. Comparing the daylight pictures, you see that the 8 Pro has more contrast than the Mate and therefore seems a little bit darker. Both handle the white balance pretty good. The Huawei tend to have a slightly reddish tone. Cropped in, you'll notice that the OnePlus image has more grain and that the Mate is a bit more saturated. On the other hand, the OnePlus has more details. The pictures taken in nighttime conditions are equally bright, but the OnePlus has much more details in the darker parts of the image. But this time the 8 Pro has a red touch to it. Cropped in, you see that the OnePlus 8 Pro has much more details than the mushy pictures of the Huawei Mate 40 Pro. In case of the front camera, we haven't noticed a significant difference. The 8 Pro has a 3-fold optical and a 30-fold digital zoom feature. The Mate 40 Pro has a 5-fold optical and a 50-fold digital zoom feature. Okay, let us switch from photography to videography. What you can see and hear is the quality of the Huawei Mate 40 Pro video recording. We set it to the highest possible quality. Let's see what the competitor sounds and looks like. What you can see and hear is the quality of the OnePlus 8 Pro video recording. We set it to the highest possible quality. We think that the sound quality of the Huawei is better than that of the OnePlus 8 Pro. Let's crop in a little bit in post to see what it looks like. As you can see, both look pixelated when cropped in, but the OnePlus 8 Pro does a better job in terms of sharpness. Thanks to a resolution of 4K, the Mate 40 Pro produces first-class videos. With 480 frames per second in 1080p mode and up to 3840 frames per second in 720p mode, your slow motions are more than a go. The 8 Pro, thanks to a resolution of 4K, produces first-class videos. With 480 frames per second in 720p mode and 240 frames per second in Full HD mode, your slow motion videos are more than a go. By comparing the camera system, we expected that the Mate 40 Pro would perform as great as the P40 Pro Plus. But that didn't happen. The OnePlus 8 Pro outperformed the Mate 40 Pro, which is disappointing, to be honest. The OnePlus 8 Pro therefore wins this point. Performance. The Huawei Mate 40 Pro has 256GB internal storage capacity. It is equipped with its in-house produced high-silicon Kirin 9000 chip and has 8GB RAM. The storage capacity can be expanded with another 256GB. There's also a 128GB and a 512GB version available, but that depends on the country you are in. The Huawei Mate 40 Pro is the first Android phone that uses the 5nm process technology. Let's dive into the 8 Pro's performance specs. This version of the OnePlus 8 Pro has 256GB internal storage capacity. It is equipped with a super-fast Qualcomm Snapdragon 865 chip with 1x 2.84 GHz and 3x 2.42 GHz and 4x 1.8 GHz and has 12GB RAM. There's also an 8GB RAM model with an internal storage capacity of 128GB available. The storage capacity unfortunately cannot be expanded. The OnePlus has 12GB RAM and used to perform really well in this category. Huawei's phone has 8GB RAM but uses a 5nm process technology. So let's take them into the Antutu benchmark test to find out which phone performs better. The tests are divided into 3 phases. A performance test of the RAM, a test of how the device is handling 2-dimensional graphics, and an endurance test of how the device is handling 3D graphics. The 12GB RAM does not help the OnePlus 8 Pro to win in this case. The 5nm technology helped the Mate 40 Pro to win in terms of performance, and therefore the Huawei takes home this point. Design. The Huawei Mate 40 Pro has a clean design with a matte finish. The 3-camera system is well positioned in a ring on the upper center on the back of the phone. Like most phones, the camera bump is pretty big, but since it is more centered, it tends to wobble less when it lays on a flat surface. The smartphone weighs 212 grams, it is roughly 16.29 cm long, 7.55 cm wide and 0.91 cm deep. It has a USB-C connector and thanks to an IP68 rating it is water and dust resistant. The Mate 40 Pro uses a fingerprint scanner which is built into the screen and face recognition technology to unlock the phone. Both technologies work great. We still can't wrap our heads around the fact that the camera system looks like an iPod. Let's take a look at OnePlus's design. The OnePlus 8 Pro has a clean design with a matte finish. The quad camera system is well positioned on the upper center on the back of the phone. The camera bump is pretty big and sticks out a lot. That is something we don't really like. The smartphone weighs 199 grams, it's roughly 16.53 cm long, 7.44 cm wide and 0.85 cm deep. It has a USB-C connector and thanks to an IP68 rating, it is finally water and dust resistant, which previous models weren't. The 8 Pro uses face recognition technology and a fingerprint scanner which is built into the screen to unlock the phone. The face recognition technology works perfect at daylight and also good in a weak light environment. So, who's the winner in this category? To be honest, we couldn't decide which phone should win here. Therefore, we decided to call it a draw. What do you think? Which phone should have won in your opinion? Let us know in the comments below. We'd love to hear what you think. Battery. The OnePlus 8 Pro, when fully charged, has around 4510 mAh. On the other hand, the Mate 40 Pro, when fully charged, has 4400 mAh. In terms of capacity, both phones feature almost the same battery size. But Huawei features the first Android phone with the 5nm process technology, which already did a great job in terms of performance. Let's take them into our day-to-day usage test to find out which battery lasts longer. The clear winner in this case is the Huawei. It lasted longer than its competitor and therefore takes home the point in this category. But once again, both phones got through a whole day of normal usage. It always depends on the way you use your phone and the settings you use it in. Conclusion. To call a winner in this comparison, we have to count the points of each category. The first one was the display category, which the OnePlus 8 Pro won, because it has a 120Hz refresh rate feature, even though it was released 7 months before the Mate 40 Pro. The camera performance of the Mate 40 Pro was in our opinion disappointing. We expected more. The OnePlus took home this point. In terms of performance, the Huawei Mate 40 Pro did a good job. The 5nm process technology let it outperform the 8 Pro. We couldn't decide on who the winner is in the design category. That is why we gave both phones a point in this one. In the battery life category, the Huawei clearly won. It lasted long in our day-to-day usage tests. Overall, both phones scored the same amount of points. Therefore, we have a draw in this comparison. Naturally, we review more than these 5 categories covered here. If you want to see the full comparison, follow the link to our website. You can compare up to 7 different smartphones at versus.com. But before you do that, please post your comments and let us know which phone you think ranks first. If you liked our video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Take care and see you soon.